The PS5 has sold over 10 million units worldwide. The new sales milestone follows the previous announcement that the console had roughly hit 8 million units back in March, and it remains the fastest selling PlayStation console in the company's history. Now, according to Sony Interactive Entertainment, PS5 sales continue to outpace its immediate predecessor, the PS4, which is impressive considering how well the PS4 did during its time in the spotlight. For those of you who don't have a PS5 yet, like myself, you're probably wondering, how? How have you guys sold 10 million units worldwide? I don't have one. If you guys can just stop selling the scalpers, I could have one. First of all, that's not going to happen. It's about the bottom line. They care more about that green than anything else. Even if they knew a way to stop selling the scalpers, they're not going to do it. So you can let that go. But how? Why? Why don't you have a PS5 yet? The answer is pretty simple. There's a chip shortage. It's a semiconductor shortage. This chip is pretty much one of the things that makes the PS5 work. And unless this is involved, you can't make a PS5. And if you can't make a PS5, you can't sell a PS5. And it's not just for consoles and gaming. Car companies like Ford and GM are also having the same problems with their truck production that are coming to a halt. Apple supplier Foxconn is warning of part delays that could last until 2022. 5G rollouts are getting delayed, and Samsung is warning of a serious imbalance in the semiconductor industry. It's really stemming from a lot of things, basically things like COVID-19, people who are just sitting in the house, they need a laptop because they had to work from home, or they're streaming more on Twitch and other platforms. They're just bored. They're buying consoles, stuck at home, whatever the case may be. And then, of course, the aftermath of 45's trade war with China. But that's why you don't have one. It's the semiconductor shortage. And until the demand decreases and can keep up with the supply, or they find an even ground, we're going to see this until probably 2023. Them just the facts. Sorry. But yeah, that's why you don't have a PS5 yet. That's why I don't have a PS5 yet. Ladies and gentlemen, blurs and nerds, freaks and geeks, this is Do You Speak Geek, episode 88. Welcome everyone, this is Do You Speak Geek. I am your host, Nix. Thanks to everyone who has been listening to the previous episodes and all episodes thus far. And big shout out to all the new subscribers and new followers. Welcome to Do You Speak Geek. This is the podcast where you get all the latest and greatest in the geek realm as far as news and reviews. Shout out to Spreaker, the home team. You're probably listening on Spreaker right now, but if not, we are everywhere. So wherever you get your podcasts, listen to Do You Speak Geek, and go ahead and hit that subscribe while you're there. DoYouSpeakGeek.com, the central hub for everything DYSG. We have blogs, we have new merch. My wife would say, psst, psst, plug the merch. So yeah, be sure to hit the DoYouSpeakGeek.com, save it as a favorite on your desktop, and keep rocking with us. Follow us on social media, Facebook at DYSGFB, Twitter at DYSG_tweets, and Instagram at Do You Speak Geek. YouTube is the only place where you can find the Dono and Daddy Show. Please be sure to subscribe, like, Hulk, smash that bell for all notifications, and leave your comments. We want to know what you guys think. We got 2 new videos on YouTube, so go check those out when you get an opportunity. And also hit up that Instagram so you can re-watch the DYSG Live between myself and Mr. Manuel Carmona. That's my guy, mi hermano. So please check that out. You guys get an opportunity to. Got a lot of reviews and one big story this week. So people, let's do what we do about this time. Let's speak geek.
Suit up.
I wanna be the very best.
Talk nerdy to me.
All right, people, your DYSG reviews this week. Pokemon Unite. It's an entertaining, casual game constrained by its overcommitment to simplicity and some questionable microtransactions. It's an okay game, but, it's Pokemon. People are going to buy it regardless. Jungle Cruise. It's a rollicking adventure full of humor and heart anchored by Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt's winning heroes. Wow. Who would have thought Disney would put out a rock and a blunt? Oh my God, that was wildly inappropriate, but moving on. In Eldest Souls, while it wears its obvious influence on its sleeve, Eldest Souls is an incredibly satisfying boss rush that still manages to set itself apart. Dope game, check that out when you get an opportunity to. The Suicide Squad, gut-wrenching, gut-busting wild ride, and DC's best film in years. Not even gonna argue with that. The Green Knight. Dev Patel and Alicia Vikander deliver a dizzying, hot, and heady spin on Arthurian legend. If anything that's involving around, Knights of the Round and Camelot and anything that's kind of like that or that in general, I'm in anyway. Definitely enjoy this. Samurai Warriors 5. It won't shock anyone who's played one of Omega Force's Warrior games before, but it does present a great new style and enough over-the-top action to keep coming back for replay value. So, if you want to play that one, you won't waste your time. The Forgotten City does a fabulous job exploring interesting moral quandaries through excellently written dialogue and characters. Beautiful game and even more beautiful story. Please check that one out. And finally, we have Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2. It expertly adapts the captivating comics, has a twist, and it gives a well-deserved spotlight to Harvey Dent. Check that one out. If you haven't checked out Part 1, go check out Part 1 now, and then await Part 2 when it releases soon. Now, the big story this week, and this is over 9,000 big. ScarJo and maybe even Emma Stone are suing Disney over breach of contract. Now, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney over a Black Widow contract breach after the movie was released after release day and date on Disney Plus. This is despite Johansson's contract reportedly assuring her that the movie will be released exclusively in theaters. This news comes by way of the Wall Street Journal, which reports a large part of Johansson's salary was based on the movie's box office performance in theaters. Because the movie was released to Disney Plus, sources familiar with the lawsuit say the move to streaming services cost Johansson more than $50 million. Johansson's complaint states that the representatives attempted to renegotiate her contract for Black Widow after learning that the movie would be released as a premiere access movie on Disney Plus the same day it hit theaters. The suit claims that Disney and Marvel were unresponsive to these discussions, according to the Wall Street Journal. Even before the pandemic, Johansson was reportedly already worried the movie would be released as a premiere access title, and the actor sought assurances that the movie would have a traditional theatrical release. As we all know, that did not happen. But some people are saying that she's being a little insensitive to the pandemic and that, it's $50 million. She shouldn't worry about that. But come on now. If someone owed you $50 and they didn't hand it to you, you'd be ready to stab them or whatever the case may be. But, when money is owed to you, it's owed to you regardless of how much it is or your status or star power. So I completely co-sign with ScarJo for doing this. Absolutely. Now, another insider suggests Emma Stone is playing the waiting game before deciding how to proceed on obtaining additional royalties and back-end pay regarding her performance in Disney's Cruella. Stone's path is nearly identical to Johansson's, as both will reportedly due a significant portion of the pay from the back-end box office receipts once the respective films debuted. Since both films did theatrical releases and a stream on Disney Plus at the same time, the common thought is that the streaming release severely damaged total back-end hauls. Give these girls their money. That's all I'm saying, Disney. Do the right thing. Don't be out here P. Diddy them and, not paying them what they owe. Don't be Diddy. Don't be like Baby. Pay these girls their money. Give them what you owe them. That's all I gotta say on that. I'm not mad at them for suing Disney at all. Take your money, ladies. Absolutely. Let's hop into my favorite portion of the show. Y'all know the vibes. Source Wall.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Behold the Source Wall.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends.
There is nothing wrong with reading a story and looking at the pictures.
Enough said, Stan. Let's hop right into it. The pull list this week. X-Men #2. As threats hurtle toward the Earth from all sides, the fearless X-Men fight a seemingly unstoppable wave of annihilation. But even more dangerous threats lurk in the darkness, ready to strike in secret. I wonder what that can be. I know, but you guys will check it out. Sinister War #2. Spidey's classic problem has been multiplied by 2, and you don't even know the half of it. That's good. 12 of Spidey's greatest villains are out for blood. Spider-Man and each others. Ock and Vulture make their big plays this issue that are going to shake up New York City in ways you didn't think were possible. I really feel bad for Peter Parker. I really do. Lucky Devil #1. A down-on-his-luck schlub is possessed by a malevolent demon. Just when he thinks things can't get worse, the exorcism goes terribly wrong, and he finds that somehow he's retained all of the entity's supernatural gifts. After a path of revenge on all the people that have wronged him, he begins to gather worshippers and form a cult. But the legions of hell don't take kindly to this, and they send demonic agents to murder the schlub turned god before he gains too much power. This is probably exactly what happened, but Lucky Devil sounds dope. Check this one out if you get a chance. And finally, we have Crime Syndicate 6. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Ultra Girl. That's right, folks. Kara Zor-El of Earth 3 arrives, and it's far from a happy family reunion. Can Ultraman take his cousin down and reclaim his place as the last true survivor of Krypton? Meanwhile, on a hidden island in the Pacific, Emerald Knight must finally decide. Will he stand with the Legion of Justice, or will he give in to the Crime Syndicate? Pretty dope book so far. This one's going to wrap up pretty nicely, I think. Those are your Source Wall picks, ladies and gentlemen. Please be sure to pick those up this Wednesday at your local comic book store. Let's watch this.
Watch this, y'all. Thunder! Thunder! Thunder!
Lannister always pays his debts.
Whoa, dude.
I am the villain of the story.
Alright people, as usual, we got a gang of Watch This news. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. The Walking Dead final season gets full trailer and 2 new cast members ahead of the premiere date. So The Walking Dead's final season will air in less than a month, kicking off the first 8 episodes of a season that will ultimately be split into 3 parts. Ahead of the premiere date, AMC revealed a new trailer featuring 2 new cast members joining the show while also sharing new details about the finale. During the Walking Dead virtual Comic-Con panel, the first full trailer for the final season was revealed following weeks ahead of teasers. Additionally, the panel announced that Layla Robbins and Josh Hamilton will join the cast as series regulars as Governor Pamela Milton and Lance Hornsby. While The Walking Dead will conclude next year, that does not mean the franchise itself will go dormant. AMC has already greenlit a spin-off series focusing on Daryl Dixon and Carol Pedler, which is slated to premiere sometime in 2023. Additionally, spin-off shows Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead World Beyond will return for their respective 7th and 2nd seasons this October. What's more, according to my man Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays the character Negan, there are talks about a potential spin-off series focusing on his character as well. And finally, The Walking Dead will make its way to the big screen in the form of a movie trilogy starring Andrew Lincoln, who played Rick Grimes before departing the show in its 9th season. So, for you guys who are Walking Dead fans out there, Here's the news. What do you think? Me personally, the Daryl Dixon Show, okay. Not too big a fan of the Walking Dead World Beyond. Fear the Walking Dead's okay, but if you give me a spinoff series with Negan, I am in. And of course, I'm definitely going to be hitting the theaters for that Rick Grimes movie. Absolutely. Let's get it. Doctor Who Season 13 new trailer and cast member revealed. So the showrunner of Doctor Who, Chris Kimball, along with Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, and John Bishop revealed new details, including a trailer and photos for the upcoming season of Doctor Who at the Comic-Con at Home panel. The new trailer for season 13 of the series, starring Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor, shows her companions Mandip Gill returning as Yaz and the newly joined companion John Bishop as Dan. The characters are teased in new locations, along with being in seemingly intense situations for the season 13 storyline. The trailer also gives a first look at the newest revealed cast member, Jacob Anderson, who played Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. Anderson will play Vendor, a Doctor Who, a character who Schnabel said he makes you root for him, and he breaks your heart. He's got the whole range. So to my Whovians, what do we think? Is this going to be a great season or what? Dexter, New Blood, trailer and premiere date. So Dexter Morgan is back, people. Showtime touted Dexter New Blood, their upcoming 10-episode revival series at Comic-Con, revealing the show's first teaser trailer and premiere date for the highly anticipated show. Dexter returns to Showtime on November 7th at 9 p.m. EST. Emmy winner Michael C. Hall returns as the avenging serial killer in a story that has been called a second finale for Dexter. But Hall isn't the only Dexter veteran on board for the revival. Clyde Phillips, who saw the show original series' first 4 seasons, serves as the showrunner of the revival, while Jennifer Carpenter and John Lithgow each reprise their deceased characters, Deb Morgan and Arthur Mitchell, aka the Trinity Killer, respectively. Phillips acknowledged that there will be some returning cast members who will make some people's brains explode. Yo, I know a lot of people out there who absolutely are hype as hell for Dexter. I kind of wish I was one of them, but Dexter does look amazing. I've never watched an episode in my life, but maybe I can catch up in time for this to premiere. You know, it said November, it's August. I got time. Maybe I'll do it. A live action Pokemon series is being developed at Netflix. We are seeing that it's being headed up by Lucifer's Joe Henderson. According to Variety, Henderson is slated to write and executive produce the live-action adaptation. He is currently the co-showrunner of Netflix's popular Lucifer series based on a DC comic. Reports say that the series is aiming to replicate Detective Pikachu, the 2019 live-action movie with Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith. However, Netflix's series is its own independent production and will not be related. I mean, if they use some of those same CGI graphics and cinematography, this show's gonna slap. Like, absolutely, this show's gonna be so dope. And I, for one, I can't wait to see the many different Pokemon in live action adaptations. This is gonna be fire. I cannot wait. Sweet Tooth officially renewed for season 2. This makes my wife and Dono very happy. The fantasy series based on DC Comics has now been renewed for season 2. The official Twitter account teased an announcement earlier this week after sharing a series of tweets from fans that had received surprise parcels in the post, instructing them to unwrap the boxes on July 29th. The lucky recipients of those mystery packages took to social media on Thursday to reveal the content of the box that had just been advised. One of those fans and also showrunner was Mr. Robert Downey Jr. So yeah, fans of Sweet Tooth, you got a second season officially now. Let's do it. Okay, this one makes my head hurt a little bit. So J.K. Simmons is set to return as James Gordon for the Batgirl movie. He is reportedly in talks to reprise his role as James Gordon. The Hollywood Reporter says the Oscar winner is already in talks with Warner Brothers as the studio is looking to beef up production for a 2022 HBO Max release of Batgirl. Simmons previously played Gordon in the Justice League movie, a DCU movie. If he returns, Simmons will play the head of Gotham PD as well as the father of Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. Of course, in the Heights star, Leslie Grace has been cast to take on the role of Batgirl. I mean, people, like, it just... So this is definitely a token casting. It communicates to me that DC is making Batgirl black just for the hell of it. If you're making J.K. Simmons Jim Gordon, then you're making Batgirl black just for the hell of it. It's not gonna affect the story in any kind of way. There's no rhyme or reason. It doesn't add to the story. Like I said, if it's not going to add to the story, then don't add it to the story. This is dumb. DC, Warner Brothers, once again, you have failed this city. Finally, we have the release date and first look for Hawkeye. Disney has revealed that Marvel Studios' Hawkeye will premiere on Disney Plus on November 24th, with new episodes arriving each and every Wednesday. Entertainment Weekly has also shared a first look at the new series, which stars both Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye and Haley Stanfield as Kate Bishop. Hawkeye will be the next live-action Marvel Cinematic Universe following Loki, which will bring Hawkeye face-to-face with the young archer Kate Bishop for the first time. Now, for the unaffiliated, Kate Bishop, the character, was originally created by Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung back in the 2000s in the Marvel's Young Avengers comic. In the comic, Clint Barton, who was assumed dead, Kate Bishop took up the mantle of Hawkeye. However, he did return because of comic magic, and the two started to share the panel of Hawkeye in a solo comic by Matt Fraction and David Aja that ran from 2012 to 2015. This is going to be a good show. I think if we look at how Black Widow ended, we kind of have some sort of a plot detail already, where the sister of Black Widow is going to be hunting down Hawkeye. So it should be interesting enough. Let's see more details come to fruition, and this November we have another show to look forward to. Let's hop into Thumb Life.
Peace, love, and video games!
It's on like Donkey Kong.
That man is playing Galaga.
Okay, gamers, Capcom is asking if players want a new Ace Attorney game. Imagine that, a video game company asking the fans what they want. I wish EA would do that. Sims 5. Anyway, following the release of the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Capcom is asking players to give their opinions on the series, and specifically asking if they want brand new games in the series. The aptly titled The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles user survey, which Capcom added to its website, asked players to give their detailed opinions on virtually every part of the game you can imagine. Capcom would like to know if you had high expectations for the game before purchase, where you purchased your copy from, what progress you've made with the game so far, and most crucially, whether or not you'd buy a future Ace Attorney game if it were to be made. Following this, players can also give their opinions on a list of further topics linked to the Ace Attorney Chronicles, including voice acting, story, sound effects, background artwork, game controls, and more. Capcom has even prepared for the possibility that you might not have bought the latest title when filling out the survey, opting to tell them that you don't own the copy and have no plans on purchasing it. In future grants you access to a range of follow-up questions. These questions prompt you to tell Capcom what consoles, platforms you currently own games for, what genre you prefer to play, and how many titles you have bought this past year. So Capcom has really taken an initiative here to learn their fan base. I think most companies should take this playbook and run with it. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you want to know what your fans want, so therefore you should really be catering to the fans. I mean, I don't see why any company wouldn't do that anyway. So hats off to you, Capcom, for doing this. I wish other companies would listen and take this page. Absolutely. I'm with this all the way to the end. Absolutely. Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda release date announced. Now, Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda expansion starring Black Panther will be released on August 17th as a free update to all owners of the base game. Alongside adding Black Panther as a third new playable superhero, War for Wakanda will feature a new story, 2 new villains, a brand new environment to explore, new enemies, the Zana outpost, new solo or multiplayer drop zone and threat sector missions, and much more. Can't wait to play this one this month. It's going to be fire. And last, we have announcements from Annapurna Interactive Showcase 2021. Let's go ahead and run through these. The Artful Escape, a musical story game about the nephew of a folk music legend comes to terms with who he is, was first announced way back in 2017. We saw a brand new trailer for the game, last bestowing a release date, which is going to be September 9th for Xbox, yes, Game Pass, and Steam. Neon White got a new gameplay trailer showcasing its fast-paced movement and choice-based gameplay that has you discarding weapons to gain access to powerful transversal abilities. Neon White is coming to Nintendo Switch and PC this winter. Solar Ash got a brand new trailer showing off more of its smooth parkour, colorful world, and the strange creatures that inhabit it. Best of all, we finally have a release date, October 26, 2021 for PS4, PS5, and PC. And the Annapurna Showcase dropped a rapid-fire reel of platform releases. The Pathless is coming to Steam on November 16th. What Remains of Edith Finch is headed to iOS on August 16th. I Am Dead arrives on PS5, PS4, and Xbox on August 9th. And Telling Lies and Gregoria are both headed to Xbox Game Passes very soon. Alright, you nerds, let's mark out.
So what you gonna do?
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
Alright, you wrestling smarks, WWE releases Bray Wyatt. That's it. Ain't no punchline to that. That's the tweet. WWE released Bray Wyatt. WWE announced yesterday morning that they released Bray Wyatt from the company, and along with the announcement came the standard caption of WWE has come to terms to release Bray Wyatt. We wish him the best in all his future endeavors. While the WWE has released a number of talents over its roster the past few months, Wyatt's name being in the mix is truly shocking, as he's been one of the company's most high-profile stars over the past 2 years with his reinvented Fiend character, which also launched the most recent version of Alexa Bliss. I mean, first of all, go check out my latest Okay Real Quick on YouTube for my true thoughts on this. But when you have this man's entire gimmick and you give it to someone else, and it just sucks for him. It just sucks. But I wish him the best in whatever he does next. AEW. In other news, Batman Unburied. Black Panther's Winston Duke to play Bruce Wayne in a podcast series. So Spotify, Warner Brothers, and DC have announced that Black Panther's Winston Duke will be playing Bruce Wayne in the upcoming Batman Unburied scripted podcast alongside Harry Potter's Jason Isaacs as Alfred. Batman Unburied will have David S. Goyer writing for this. He's also written for Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises as an executive producer, and the new story will explore the darker aspects of Bruce Wayne's psychology. Batman Unburied will debut exclusively on Spotify, but no further details on release dates or episode counts have been detailed as of this story breaking. The writers team will include Supergirl's Eric Carcassano, the House of Haunting Hill's Rebecca Kingle, Saladin Ahmed, and Graham Westerson. I'm not too mad at the choice of voicing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, why? Why? I mean, if it was me, I definitely would have reached out to Kevin Conroy before anybody else. But Kevin Conroy is a god, a goat, and he may be tired of doing it. Who knows? But I don't know. Maybe some more tokenism going on here. I don't know. But that's just me. Anyways, That's the show, guys. Thanks for listening. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. Please be sure to follow this podcast, subscribe to this podcast. Let your boy know what you think about this podcast. Visit the website, doyouspeakgeek.com. Follow us on our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to watch the interview with Manuel Carmona on DYC Live. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out our 2 latest videos there. Okay, real quick, and what we want from WWE 2K22. As always, people, live to play to win to live. I speak geek. Do you speak geek?